Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at Nvidia after that big keynote that just happened a few hours ago. On today's episode, what I want to do is just take a closer look at three things that I really enjoyed about the keynote and just share my overall thoughts on the price right now here for Nvidia. So we'll take a closer look at all that in today's episode. So let's get started.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, I think I want to start off with the overall price action, and we can see Nvidia is down roughly 1.77%. It's down about $15. And this is something that I've kind of talked about in previous episodes, and unfortunately, I got a lot of hate when I would say something like this. But I didn't think the event would be a big market mover because a lot of the things were already known. So, in forms of the stock price decline right now, stock movements are very volatile after hours. In the short term, I don't know what's going to happen with Nvidia. In the long term, I'm a long-term investor, and I believe the stock price will be much higher in the next few years. All right, so the first thing we should start off with is the main product, and that's the Blackwell architecture. And this architecture was kind of creating all the new products and all the new solutions for the new generation of GPU, the B100 and the B200. And this Blackwell GPU architecture, we can see, features 6 transformative technology for accelerated computing. And they do mention that among the many organizations that are expected to adopt Blackwell are Amazon with their AWS, Dell Technologies, Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, Oracle, Tesla, and xAI, which is Tesla's AI company or Elon Musk AI company. So we can see right off the bat that all the major cloud service providers are going to be taking the Blackwell product one way or another. I personally believe that Amazon is one that maybe for the H100 was a little bit hesitant on producing more, on really purchasing, but for some reason, I'm getting the feeling that Amazon is going to double down on the Blackwell platform and is going to become one of the really strong players here in the AI space for cloud server providers. I wonder if maybe the fear of them losing market share from companies like Microsoft, Oracle, and Google is really pushing into this. But for some reason, I believe Amazon is going to be one of the top purchasers of this Blackwell architecture. Before we go any further, I just want to say thank you all for the amazing support we are getting in this channel. We're closing into 40,000 subs. That is insane. So if you haven't and you are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support this channel a little bit more, check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode. So Amazon is going to be a big player here. Another kind of quote that got my attention was Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and xAI. He mentions that there is currently nothing better than Nvidia hardware for AI. So I personally believe Elon is one that just says it how it is, and this just kind of showcases that, hey, look, Nvidia is far ahead of the competition right now. Just some quick backgrounds. The chip is being built under TSMC's 4-nanometer process. It is 2 kind of GPUs put together to create one super GPU, and they have this kind of interconnection technology that makes it look like it's one single unified GPU, and that's very important, right? So now that we know a little bit about the architecture, I think we can learn a little bit more of the different products that Nvidia provides with this. The first product that they talked about was the GB200, which is the Grace Blackwell 200 super chip. And this connects their GPUs to B200 GPUs with one Grace CPU. And this really caught my attention, and let me explain why. So when we saw the previous generation of the H100, we saw the HGX platform. And the HGX platform was 2 x86 GPUs and CPUs, so either an AMD CPU or in that case it was an Intel CPU with 8 H100s. And that was kind of the core product that Nvidia was trying to sell. But here with the keynote, it seems like that's changing a little bit. While Nvidia did release the B200, the DGX B200, and this is very similar to the DGX H100, where it's 8 GPUs paired up with 2 x86 CPUs. Here again, they're using Intel's fifth generation. So we can see Intel is definitely a big player here for the AI market in forms of CPU. And here we can just take a closer look at performance boost of the B200 versus the H100. The B200 is a crazy, crazy, crazy chips in forms of performance. But this wasn't the core product NVIDIA was really focusing on. They really focused on this one, the Grace Blackwell Super Chip. And like I mentioned, this is NVIDIA's CPU and GPU. So I want to say this is starting to look like Intel and AMD should really watch themselves when it comes to the CPU market. Obviously, they already know that Nvidia is the king in the GPU space, but it does seem like Nvidia right now is really pushing into that CPU market, and rightfully so, because they have all these great technology and connectivity. They're able to create some amazing systems just using all their own chips, right? But obviously, there's the need for that optionality. So you can obviously use x86, and you need x86 for certain things as well. So the Grace, the GB200, which is that super chip, the CPU and the GPU, is going to come into this key component of this supercomputer, which they call the NVL72. Another thing I want to mention here with the Grace Blackwell 200 is just the overall adoption. So for the Grace Blackwell, which is the CPU and GPU supercomputer connected together, it seems like every cloud service provider is going to be offering this solution. But when it came to the previous generation, the first time NVIDIA had a Grace with the H1, the Grace Hopper 200, the HGH 200 chip, not many cloud service providers went for that solution. So we can see that NVIDIA's products are becoming more sticky and they're becoming better. So now cloud service providers are choosing the full stack, not just like the DGX system. One final thing I wanted to talk about is NVIDIA is creating this DGX SuperPod, which is a complete data center scale AI supercomputer that integrates high performance storage from NVIDIA's certified partners to meet the demands of generative AI workloads. They mentioned that each is built, cabled, and tested in factory to dramatically speed deployment at customers' data centers. Now, the next two things I want to talk about from the GTC aren't that big in forms of the Blackwell chip, but Nvidia did announce a nice amount of microservices for their generative AI platform. And this is just overall software solutions. They're increasing their software solutions to help companies that might not know how to do anything with AI or large language models get into the space a lot faster. So this is kind of typical of Nvidia, where they create the hardware, which is the Blackwell. They create software solutions to help kind of give their chips a purpose. And right now, AI might be a little bit hard for certain players. So Nvidia is increasing their overall software solutions so anybody can enter the AI market and create these large language models and create their own forms of models and their own types of AI solutions. And they're doing it so then these companies that might have not done it because it seems too hard, now they don't have an excuse and they can go out there and buy plenty and plenty of NVIDIA hardware. A perfect example here is NVIDIA launches cloud quantum computer simulation microservices. We saw a lot for the healthcare market. We saw some for the cybersecurity market. So NVIDIA overall is increasing its software solution, and that can bode really well for the software revenue, which has very, very high margins. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look at is where NVIDIA believes the next AI phase is going to happen, and they believe it's humanoid robotics. So, NVIDIA announced Project Group Foundation model for humanoid robots and major Isaac robotic platform updates. So, overall, this new platform is kind of form of training simulators that are going to help with humanoid robots. Inside of this, they also unveiled the new supercomputer, which is called the Jensen Thor. For those that are familiar, the Thor is usually the CPU or the processor that's used in autonomous vehicles, and Jetson is the solution that they use for robotics. They're putting all this together to create this kind of system on chip of the Jetson Tour, which is going to be the robotics and the autonomous, and kind of create it perfectly for humanoid robots. Outside of that, they did announce the new Thor version, which is their CPU or their processor that goes in the next generation of vehicles and autonomous delivery vehicles. And they do mention that this chip is going to be powered by Nvidia's Blackwell architecture. They mentioned a lot of big Chinese players here in the EV and autonomous vehicle that are going to be using this chip. I am actually curious if Nvidia continues to develop their AI chip as such a their overall autonomous vehicle chip at such a fast rate. And we know that the Blackwell architecture is crazy, crazy ahead of the competition. I am wondering, when is Tesla going to go back, or are they going to go to NVIDIA's chips for future generations? Right now, we know Tesla has their second, I believe they're on their second version of their own inference chips for their products. But who knows, maybe in the future, if Nvidia continues to provide these great solutions, if Tesla is going to be a customer of Nvidia again in forms of their processing for the vehicle market. So that's all I wanted to take a closer look at in today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.